Islam, Moors. Let's get started up. Junior's on the way.
Yeah.
5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, Father of the universe.
Allah, Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth. Peace. Freedom.
Justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide. And my salvation. By night. And by day. With his holy prophet. Noble Juali. Islam. Islam was. The Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to read proclamations at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitated speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans, it causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the Prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their Prophet. If they lose confidence in their Prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to a state where I, the Prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the Prophet Noble Juali. And if the Prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The Prophet therefore is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their Prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the Prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Juali. Islam. To be proclaimed at every meeting. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim that I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your Prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the Prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet Noble Juali. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Islam. This is the instruction from your Prophet Noble Juali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you would be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near. So says Allah to his divine Prophet, I, Noble Juali. And that's why many hearts have been turned to stone. Many have ears to see but cannot see. Many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they would be confounded of their sins. These are trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving. And they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but would sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your Prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your Prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest. And Islam to all the Moors. We had something to play today, but the Moors are having a discussion before we started up with regard to the botched impeachment of Trump, and there was some interesting stuff brought up. So if anybody wants to put out their thoughts on the impeachment that everybody called for, that never happened. And, you know, yeah, just your thoughts on it. We'll just open up with that for right now.
I guess the time is not what we're saying. Can't really impeach someone who's not there. So either, you know, then again, is he in office? Because when you see the day of inauguration, you see the whole military facing the other direction. When eyes are facing, you know, this is supposed to be their sword, they're not going to keep it.
Maybe they were facing where they were supposed to face. Where did the inauguration take place? I heard it was in Hollywood. Hollywood. So I heard.
Hollywood inauguration.
Because even the inauguration, I swear when it was live on TV, other people were saying that it wasn't happening when your TV was showing it happening, like in real time.
Yeah, so I heard.
So it was filmed like it was like.
I heard like some people in Spain were watching it, like the middle of the night, like the inauguration is like 3 o'clock this afternoon or whatever. They were watching it from midnight before.
Yeah.
Before.
So mistakes from Washington and it wasn't happening.
They got the bootleg released quick, eh?
They
got the bootleg version.
The leak. They got the leak inauguration.
Yeah.
It's like the movie theater, you know, when you go there, they get in Europe, they get the movie first, I think. And over here, or the bootleg it, so they send it, and you're watching it before it even debuts.
Before they got the sneak preview. The sneak preview.
Same thing happened in 9/11 where the reporter reported that the building had dropped before it dropped. I don't know. That's what I said. I don't. That's these guys' show. You know what I mean? You can watch it. You can try and decipher it or whatever, but you never got a script. You weren't invited to the, you know, you're not the actor in the, like all those people that were there. What was it? A stage?
There's that TV out.
And they can put whatever they want. Backdrop. Just have it green in the back, and then this is Hollywood. You know what I mean? It's easy.
Right, somebody will put this question out there. So, is that proof that he is actually still the president and that the republic is back online? No. One of the things that outside people always don't attach to, the same thing getting caught up with, is he gonna impeach? Is he not gonna be impeached? Is real, Kamala, and everybody doesn't even talk about, these people are corporation, these people are Walmart.
Yeah.
Right? Just like what you're saying. What is, if you're not part of the play, what are you talking about acting and what's my part? Can I get some lines and all this stuff? You're not even in.
Watch the show, man.
Just watch the show,
Yes,
like
well,
that's all. You know what I mean? Just watch the show. Moore's been telling these people, no way they're gonna impeach Trump. It ain't happening. And even if they do, it didn't happen because they're not legislature, they're not executive and judicial and whatever like that. They're none of that. So as soon as people start going there with it, that, oh well, so what happened or where, you already know that they don't have the full scope of what's going on. So they're probably talking from a lost perspective, not having enough information perspective, but thinking they can give critique or give, you know what I mean, some type of position or whatever on it, right?
And by going through impeachment, they're wasting corporation resources and corporation board of directors' time,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're expecting this corporation to be able to do stuff. When they just wasted all that time and resources.
All that time.
Did they waste it or they just paid themselves though?
Or well, yeah, that too.
Well, yeah. But then if you're expecting certain things out of Walmart and you just found out they just spent all this time just having meetings just to pay themselves, then
That's what happens.
Walmart might not be able to, provide.
What are these guys doing over here? Right? They never shut down their offices, right? That Ford guy, these guys are all working still?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what are they doing though? And everything shut down. How about, see?
They're having meetings, bro.
See?
So they're not
They're having
What's
meetings.
that?
So they're rewarding people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
well, you don't
still-
want, I don't want you in the way of what we're doing, so you guys just cool out. But what are they still meeting about?
Yeah. If
You know?
stuff shut, if
Essential
stuff shut
travel
down.
is just them guys traveling.
Yeah.
Essential services, the ones that pay them big tax dollars.
Yeah.
So all their companies, businesses that pay them are still going, they're still going, but everybody else is on timeout.
Yeah,
That's what I'm like, yo.
yeah,
That's that, man.
something's up. Something's up. Something's been up, a whole year. Something's been up.
Yo, I'm not happy, guys.
Yeah, a whole year, something's been up.
Very strong coming back around, it's like, some people just got their first, you know, under manners B-Day. No, this will be my second one in a month coming. I'm not happy with that.
So some people haven't left their house since March.
Yo, I know people like that.
Yo, haven't left their house since March.
Terrified.
What do you mean you haven't left your house? What are you talking about? How have you not left your house in a year?
Yo, they're terrifying me. It's more older people, but like this, they're terrifying.
No, yeah, the older people, they get a pass for some type of degree because,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You know, it's just like with, older people with anything, you know what I mean? They're gonna get a blind because they're older people.
Yeah.
But people who aren't there and they're talking about, they're scared of something out here or whatever like that, so they're not leaving the house. I'm not gonna go see my family or whatever because, you know, I'm gonna bring something over there to them and all this. What are you talking about, yo? My mom has the spray bottle at the door. Yeah, come on over, but know that you're not parading up and down in your COVID clothes and stuff like that. You know? As soon as you get in the house, the washroom's right there. Immediately go to the washroom, wash your hands, wash your whatever, wash your face, wash your feet bottoms and all that stuff. And then you could come say hi. No hugs, no kisses, nothing like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, yo, it's you know. But again, she's in the blind generation. You know what I mean? So it's all right. We'll give her a little blind. You got something more?
I just had one incident with that with my mother's solar return last weekend. She wanted to have a meal, though on my solar return, which was back in September, it was COVID, you know, we do it for later. So we have this thing over there, so we come in, everyone's got masks on in there, right?
Yeah.
But we're having a meal. So I'm wondering how this is all gonna work out. So I'm sitting there like, so we all got masks on, right? And I'm like, so, okay, and so then the food comes,
Who's first?
we start laying out the food. So I said, so how are we gonna eat? Are we gonna eat with the masks on? Like, through the mask? No, we're gonna, so I said, wait a minute. So I start getting mad right now, right? Because I just didn't spend 8-10 hours at my work with a mask on outside because that's the only way they're gonna pay me.
Yeah.
So I start getting mad. I said, you know what, listen, I want you guys to have a good meal, but I'm out of here, right? No, it's okay. So then we all go sit in a room about from where here to where Zahir is, or even less, in a little room with all our masks on.
Yeah.
All eating.
Yeah.
So I just thought, this is crazy.
Yeah.
This is how
The
disconnected we are.
psychological.
How it did. So
Disconnect,
when we sit in the
yeah.
house and have
Is this familiar to you, this name?
Is that Ricardo?
Those are yours? They put them in the wrong mailbox.
Okay, yeah, well, maybe, Kiba, thank you. Kiba, maybe you wanna just make sure, does it have any secret house on that? Just on the, cause maybe you can, maybe what you wanna ask them to put storefront,
Okay.
cause then that'll.
Or a number?
No, just storefront, cause that's how we have it designated here. Cause what's happening is they're probably just coming in here and dumping in their
Just
box.
dumping it in any box.
But by putting storefront in,
Yeah.
that'll just say that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just kinda, and I felt bad for mom, because I realized that when I made that call, she was stuck, because she really didn't want, I don't know what they were wanting. Cause then initially they were talking about us sitting in different rooms to have this, and I thought, it's crazy. This is what-
That's crazy.
Everybody's in the
That suggestion is crazy.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to show you is that it's obviously.
So okay, so hold on a second. Let's just go.
Really good, yeah.
Let's just go in a different room or whatever. How many rooms they got over there?
Well, like enough, like we had the kitchen, the
Yeah,
living room,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then she had her room
And then,
back, so
okay.
technically, I guess, because what they were gonna say, oh, well, it's not you that's the problem, because they realize I'm working in film. So
Yeah.
I've been tested, at this point, probably since this thing started, I've been tested 15 times to get my so-called check.
Yeah,
I gotta do that,
yeah.
unless I don't want it, right? So they were like, oh, no, it's, my cousin, my little nephew, Kuda, I think is at school. So like, it's really him who might be the problem, because he's interacting with
Yeah.
all these people, but I kinda still knew that it was, because they're in that, but then they still got this thing going on with the bubble.
Yeah.
This bubble.
Yeah, once you're in your own bubble,
You and I are
yeah.
living together, like right now, we're in a bubble.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
this should be
Yeah,
it, right?
yeah.
So anyways, but it's just a whole, I've realized that it's created a kind of cognitive dissonance. You don't know what to do anymore.
Yeah.
Like, we shouldn't be eating. We can't eat, if you're that serious about it, we can't sit down and eat, because
Yeah.
you gotta take the mask off to eat.
Yeah, if it's that serious,
If
yeah,
it's that serious, let's not have food, but that's what I realized, mom really wanted to have,
yeah,
because on my solo return, she's like, well, we'll wait till it gets a little bit, better, and we can have something outside, but she had no problem, and, all the power to her, I wanna give her her respect, but, if you're that worried about it, then we shouldn't be having a meal,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, that was my story for that.
yeah.
That's crazy. So everybody was wearing masks at the beginning, no
So we all walked in, we're in the kitchen, sort of around where the food is, and everyone's wearing a mask, and then they're like, they're laying out plates, so I just started to realize that this was really, because we should all just take our masks off
Yeah.
at that point.
We're gonna do it anyways.
Right, but no, it wasn't okay to be doing it while we're prepping, but it was okay to be doing it while we were sitting. Yeah. It's pretty bizarre.
They do that same stuff at the restaurants. You have to wear a mask to get in, and then once you sit
Then when you
down-
sit at the table, you can take your mask off, and then when you go to washroom, you put your mask on to go to, and then,
A 116-year-old nun is practice.
oh, 116-year-old nun? Oh, yeah, this is definitely common cold.
Yep.
Then die.
Well,
The nun?
two numbers are down, right?
Yeah.
Way down.
Yeah.
Like 0 down?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody has the flu right now.
We got the flu over the same period of time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But what's crazy too is the babies, like within 2 years, newborn to like 3 years old. Now for the first year or so, year and a half now, they're just seeing people mask.
Yeah.
Oh,
Star Wars, man.
So now when they see a person without a mask, they look at them like, yo. Facial recognition is one of the most acute senses that we have as humans growing up. As babies, we develop this sense of like recognizing faces really
Yeah.
fast and really intently. So those babies now, they're just recognizing like, from the eye up, and then
Yeah.
the rest is like, whenever they go outside, they know it's just mostly people that are just
Yeah.
masked with
Yeah.
eyeballs.
Yeah.
And then so then when they see a whole face now, it's like,
It's like-
You
it's
weren't
like-
there when the red light was.
oh, it's like you're naked in front of them.
Yeah. Straight.
I saw this in the red.
Yo,
Here's one. This one's a little far off, but since I haven't been here in a minute. So, could it be that they chose to wear a mask and face covering to hide features of people? To make everyone kind of like equal?
Be the same? Yeah, that's a level.
What's covered up on you,
Yeah,
right?
that's a
Those
level.
are things that
Islam,
people
boy.
say, is this-
Welcome home, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much different, levels of why are they doing this? You know what I mean? Somebody was saying, block them out so you have no freedom of speech.
That's what I
You know?
was saying, right?
It was you saying that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Block them out.
basically, it's a psychological form
Yeah.
of keeping you quiet.
Just like you're saying, only showing people's eyes would mean that, that's all people are based on. Yeah, you know what I mean?
You're
There's-
supposed to observe,
Yeah.
not supposed to give no feedback.
Yeah, you're just supposed to have your stuff on and there's no interaction as far as verbal, facial expressions unless you're just reading eyebrows or whatever like that, you know what I mean? Somebody go like this behind their mask, could be anything if they're not saying anything. You know what I mean? I could have got bit on his neck by something. You know?
What do you think more of into that, like, question they said, they're trying to block his spirituality?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because you know, spirit's the breath, and if you're not breathing, then you have no spirit, basically. You know what I mean? You know, and then the different levels of, you know, where two, you know what I mean? Like two, one behind your ears is killing.
I don't get it. I don't get what is.
Yeah.
Because the any virus is smaller than the mask. Even the N95 doesn't stop virus.
Doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even make sense. It stops right. It stopped there for me from the beginning. Right? 'Cause I wear like hazmat things and like. So my sister, she's dentist. She's like, oh, telling me blah blah blah. I'm like, nah. It's not a book. Send that.
Yeah.
And then she stopped talking to me for a little
Of course, because you know the truth wakes people the hell up and puts them back to sleep too.
But then stop, you know what I mean? And I don't know, and I was coming up here, on the transit, I'm thinking like, I'm trying to think like, you know, maybe they just tricked everybody into using their mind power not to get sick. Cause everyone's afraid to go at you and cough, so I don't think wrong with yours.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. And then the next one I had is maybe the new owner of the big corporation, he says so.
But yeah, let's, well, actually, hold on, yeah,
I want
it's
all
okay.
my property
There's
to
no
look
emergency.
the same.
Yeah.
Show me what I'm buying.
Right.
Oh, they all wear masks. Every one of our guys wears masks. I don't know. It doesn't make sense for a virus.
Yeah.
So there's something else.
Well, in terms of freedom of speech and what you said about the corporation things, like, that's what people aren't really seeing in the long term is like, in the Western Hemisphere.
Yeah, because I'm hearing that someone.
People are gonna need their nationality. Because like Dave Chappelle had a good last little thing that he had in this little excerpt that I watched, where he talks about it. And it's more so on the context of comparing 9/11 and who the enforcement agencies were after that, and then after the so-called, January 6th, the attack on the Capitol, that now they're after you know what I mean? And in its context, they're not after my black, quote-unquote, Muslim ass, he's like, they're after you now.
Yeah.
You know? And people getting censored like crazy. And it's like, the Prophet said, if you don't have your nationality, like at the very least declare your nationality, because
You don't do anything else.
then you don't do anything else, because in the long run, none of those corporations will have jurisdiction over you.
Mm-hmm.
They might have jurisdiction over their own space and their own platform, but it's like, that's the very most.
Yeah.
And they're not gonna come and speak about you outside of their own platform, even within their own platform, they're not gonna speak about you. If you know yourself, if you know you control your name and so on and so forth, you know what I mean, and your appellation and everything, then that's your jurisdiction.
Right.
Whereas this is a lesson showing the so-called the Caucasian white and all just the general citizenry, right? The membership of the corporation, that it's just a corporation. You don't have the rights that you think you have.
Yeah.
Like we're switching. You think you have? We're switching to more of a socialist corporate structure
A
now.
corporate jurisdiction that people think that they're part of. Yeah.
CCP and all that.
Yeah.
Because nobody don't want no friggin' USD now. It's printed two trillion extra over like that.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Just like that. 2 trillion extra on top of the 50 trillion that they were already. Yeah.
Look, they're even censoring their own corporations. Fox News is getting at the government. They're trying to censor us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they tried to censor your corporation's boss. Who did you think was next?
Yeah.
They go for your boss.
You're reloading, you're resetting, reloading, but it'd be silly to sit here and wait for them to reload, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Get me back in their sights, like, this has been going on, I'm like, Joe, we've had a year to figure this, our stuff out on our end. Things, nothing else is happening, you know what I mean? Okay, so ask yourself, what have you done in the last year that's gonna help you next year, you know what I mean? As you said, people just in their yard, hide it, that's not helping you
Yeah.
when, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, I don't know, but I don't know. I will everybody gets through this one mentally good.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, after this there's gonna be some crazy people out here.
Yeah.
When they say this is
Last
done,
night,
there's gonna be some crazy people out here
last
still.
night where, these people wanna get in line for a job, go train to take care of mental. There's still gonna be a lot of job space for that.
And just how they switch up, like you look at what's open, what's available, they basically just ran to the internet with the Amazon and the Ubers and the Skips and
Yeah.
that's what's up now. I don't want none of that yet, so
Yeah.
I'm good.
Only delivery I'm getting is 5 principles. That's it.
Don't get it twisted, like I do that.
Yeah.
I do that,
Yeah,
cause, you know, you can't go, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to do that. I'm not, that's not, sustainable. How do you order your meals for, how do you do that? They have commercials, like, oh, I'm throwing away my dishes, cause I got steak now. That's what they're pushing, man.
Throw away my dishes.
Don't need to cook them.
If you have any questions in the chat, put it in all caps. Somebody was asking about, they got pending cases, which paperwork they send in and all this type of stuff. Go back to Noble Drawley, all old business stays as the same, all new business, free national name. So if you have pending cases that you didn't give them a nationality card for identification, you didn't give them Moorish paperwork, you weren't wearing a fez, you weren't wearing a turban, you weren't doing anything relative to Moorish, and then you got this information and then you're trying to put this on, you know what I mean? It's not gonna pan out too good for you. So handle your nigger issues how you got them. Clean that slate off and then start talking about Moorish, whatever. Because as soon as you start mixing the Moorish thing in there, now not only for yourself is confusion happening, but also those people you're dealing with, confusion happening because they have jails, guns, bailiffs, ability to write something on a paper. Now you gotta pay 50 grand or whatever. You're setting yourself up for failure. Because one thing that we know with regard to dealing with those colonists is that you better know when you're going to deal with them. Like you better not be guessing stuff, talking about I have a trial tomorrow, so what do I do? I have a case coming up. Which paper do I send? Like no, well you should have already sent papers first of all. If you haven't sent papers yet and you got trial coming up in a week, you're probably gonna set yourself up sending in stuff that, you know what I mean, you don't know what it is that you're sending in. Because, and not that you can't send in some paper that's gonna back them down or whatever the case is. The concept is that you got those stuff as a Negro. So if you got the stuff as a Negro, black, colored, or whatever, Moorish stuff is not gonna work to get out of that. You need to do the Negro stuff to get out of that. Whether it's pay the whatever, or hire one of those people's bounty men or whatever like that, one of those people's spies, hire them. But to say you don't have the knowledge what can I do is now if you're going on your own, if you found out about this info, you got some stuff as Negro, black, colored, and you found out about this info, and then you're gonna apply this info to try to get out of your stuff, you're not going to anybody for help or whatever. You're gonna go do your research, figure out what you gotta do, send in your whatever you gotta send in, and you go about your business. Whatever happens, you'll deal with it when it happens. Right? But there's no, well, I got some issue, and then, you know, some more decides to help you or whatever. Now you're running on 50 charges that you wanna try to beat. Because you had this in the trunk and that under the seat and this, and you have all these issues going on at the same time, or 50 different court dates or whatever like that. You know what I mean? You should have went and hired the spy to try to help you get out of that. Right? Any other comments with regard to that? People with pending cases or pending issues and using more science or using law to deal with their issues.
Well, if you're just using law, you have to have an injured party, no?
Mm-hmm.
What did the prophet say? To study. You know, it's not the paperwork that's gonna help you, it's what you know. So, yeah, how you apply it.
I don't know if I would exactly say that. I think the paperwork reflects your level of knowledge, and then you've got to be able to defend it. That's how they're dealing with it, so, definitely the paperwork is.
They talk about he sent payment for a card and name thing, and then under that he's gonna say he's Jamaican and right under that, it doesn't make sense.
Right?
He shouldn't have a card because he doesn't know what he's saying yet.
Yeah, somebody in the
Guys
chat.
in the comments.
That's why when we give Moors the temple membership registration, we make copies and we say, this is the first time you do it, it's practice.
Yep.
Really, that's really what it is. You know, because the true membership is a family and it's recognition of each other. And that's the highest form. Those paper forms are lower forms.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a standard. So those Moors who it's like there's temples where they may not express that. They may express the paper form as a high form.
Yeah.
The highest form. That's not the highest form. The highest form is the mental acknowledgement. That man is my brother. That Moor right there is my brother. That sister is my sister. Not just in some kind of club or secluded or partial manner, but to all other parties, that's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
There's no arguing that.
Yeah.
There's no debating that. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. It's like, when they say people should isolate and no groups look larger than such and such that aren't family members. Alright, whatever. Cool. I'm with family right now.
I was gonna say that, look up the thing in the dictionary. It's, I forget it now, but I did look it up. But basically, anyone with common belief, whatever, under a roof, and your house, or your domicile, my domicile, his domicile, could be our whole domicile.
Yeah.
Just because it's separated by pathways and things.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I had 1,000 acres,
Yeah.
I could drop home, domicile on my land, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our land,
Yeah.
and your domicile is there, you know what I mean? I didn't look that up. Come on, there has to be, they always have an out for them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, what's, household, okay, let me see what this word means.
Mm.
Dwellings
Yeah.
in there too. Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Bottom line is you're more, and you're far away from home.
Yeah. And what's building all this stuff in my backyard, yo.
Like, are you gonna take that with you when you go? Like, what are you gonna do? Fill the sewers with concrete like you did over there? Like,
Yeah.
nah, bro, you gotta bounce, guy.
Yeah.
Not like that, but like, you gotta go. Pretty sure the people had enough.
It's customs. It's just about reconforming to the customs, you know?
Yeah.
Now you got like the fruits and vegetables, that's something that,
Yeah.
we don't do food.
Right, we get to, so we'll ask this one to Omar. Omar, got a question in the chat for you.
Huh?
You got questions in the chat for you.
Questions for me?
Yeah.
What?
Somebody said that, they sent payments to get their nationality card and their paperwork, and they're still waiting on ID. They're Jamaican by blood.
I'm trying to go on RBB and see if that email's even on the website.
Shouldn't, yeah, I think that's the one, the
That's the
RUB
right
and that card?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the first part of it, they paid for their whatever, and it's taking long to come. So they're sort of in limbo, waiting for their stuff to come. Just what's your perspective on that? And then what's your perspective on somebody applying for whatever, but out their mouth, they're saying that they're Jamaican by blood?
Well, I mean.
And anybody else could throw in on that too, just so they get different
You're
perspective.
saying the first thing, but they sent it to us?
No, not to us. They sent it to RVB to go get their paperwork and get their card and whatever like that. But it's taken a month. What's the hold up? Why is my stuff taking long or whatever?
Doesn't this remind us of the other brother that was here?
Who, yeah. Go ahead.
No, so I mean, to me, the card is irrelevant, right? From the perspective that you have to be exercising in your proper person as the first thing, but the card would only come with you sort of passing your exams, so to speak, or doing the work that you're supposed to have been doing. This isn't something where you're just
going on a website, pushing a button and getting a
stuff
card.
coming in.
Yeah.
And then if you're still identifying yourself as Jamaican, it's quite obvious that you haven't.
That you're not there yet.
You're not there yet.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I guess this is all part of the parcel of the issue that we've been facing with, I mean, maybe, well, we don't even have to bring up that other sister from the perspective of, paying for stuff without doing the studying,
Mm-hmm.
right? You sent your money into what, like, I mean, to me, you obviously haven't connected with anyone if you just decided to send your money into something and expect to be getting something back.
Yeah.
Nationality, first of all, doesn't have a cost,
Yeah.
right? So, it's obvious that these people are, some people that haven't obviously, connected with the right people.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're trying to put themselves into a place, but I think like we've understood that, this stance that we're all taking, they may as well just go get their corporate ID, because this path is 100 times harder than, like you say, clearing up your straw niggership.
Yeah.
Right, you're gonna get that thing and then you're gonna have a bullseye on you. It's not getting you out of anything. So it's quite obvious again that they really haven't understood what this is.
Yeah.
That's what my answer would be.
It's wrong. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
He's only been waiting a month.
I know, a month. He's mad.
No,
A
you
month.
get something from them, they say 6 to 8 weeks. You know.
A month, yo, and he's mad.
I had something coming from Amazon for like 2 months now.
Shit. And the other part to that is when it is Amazon, Walmart, whoever like that, ain't nobody calling them down 500 times a day about where's my stuff. You sit there and you wait till the stuff comes.
Or you check the tracking.
Or you check the
Same
tracking to see
information
when
as last
the
week.
stuff, you know, it's like, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
would also say this, just interjecting in that, from what we know of the people that are on that site, I'm sure that our sister that we know, would probably not be giving out any, would not be sending any of that out without authenticating who that was.
Most definitely,
And who signed those papers that person saying?
most definitely.
Another
So,
Jamaican?
so they may be waiting a hell of a long time.
Another Jamaican signing?
Oh yeah, and COVID slowing the mail down too, on top of that. But this is part of where the quote, "the boat has left the dock," comes in, right? That, oh yeah, well I just found out about, oh too bad, you should have been known for the past 100 years. What do you mean you just found out? And then you're not questioning the people who should have told you, you're questioning the people who's trying to get you out the situation that you're in. You're mad at the people who's assisting you, but the people who've done nothing for 100 years, the people who sit on their ass on the computer and whatever like that, pretend like they're doing something for the people and whatever, telling them $5,000, $2,000, $8,000, they're cool. You know what I mean? We're not gonna worry about them. You know? Crazy. I don't think there was any more questions, so we'll play this video. Oh, and then the other thing too is when you look on the website with regard to the nationality card and all that, there's no indication whatsoever that the publication company is issuing the ID cards. The publication company is access to get to the ID card or to the body that is producing the card, right? It's not RV Bay doing that. It's a separate entity that deals with the cards. It's just through that. So again, with like what Omar's saying, the language of majority of people get them in trouble before they even start doing stuff. Because if you're talking about, you know what I mean, you go to court or something like that, well, I have my RV Bay nationality card right here or whatever, you're in violation already. So you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Publication company don't give ID cards, right? Keep that in mind. Right. And again, for the trolls out there, yes, we're sitting online, going live. We're at the temple right now. I'm not home on the couch. I'm at our building, going live. So when you say we're gonna support whoever, and then you support them, and everything they do is from the couch, that should ring some bells for you. If they're not in different locations doing whatever, every time they're live, they got this one door behind them or whatever. You know what I mean? And they're always looking around to make sure that nobody's coming and people always coming in. Why are you talking so loud and all that stuff? You already know that these people aren't doing anything. They're playing games with you. You know what I mean? Don't get played. They're the couch people. We're at the temple right now. If anybody else got anything, just put it out there. So we wanted to again deal with Noble Drew Ali and people putting up their little videos or whatever talking crazy as if where they're coming from is a correct position or something like that. So we're gonna go through some of that, and if Moors have any input, feel free to put in your 2 cents. That was a quick. March.
No, 1441 now.
Yeah, March.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Noble Drew Ali. That's the prophet. Again, Noble Drew Ali set up the Supreme Grand Council. Noble Drew Ali talked about greater economic power. Noble Drew Ali said if we don't have a grand treasurer, we ain't no nation, we ain't nothing if we got that. I want you to point out how many times Noble Drew Ali said we need to kill people. Where Noble Drew Ali was talking about we need greater military power. Look it up for yourself. Don't believe me. Then you will see what Noble Drew Ali was about, as I keep saying over and over again. Love instead of... And the people that try to ridicule Noble Drew Ali, to try to ridicule that principle, to try to make it seem like love isn't the key, to make it seem like, yeah, we need about something other than that, to try to dismiss the Supreme Grand Council. Those people are the corrupt Moorish Americans. Those people are the dirty Moorish Americans.
Right. Now, let's just reread this order by Noble Drew Ali to all governors, grand sheikhs, and head officials of the temple. During this convention period, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said on the 17th of October that he is going to appoint 7 men tried and true and accepted by you. And on the very next day, Noble Drew Ali stepped forward from the chamber room and declared he now had his number, and said that the Grand Body had accepted his choice in the setting up of the Supreme Grand Council of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And Prophet Noble Drew Ali also declared what their duties in conjunction with that of the Grand Body, which consists of all executive rulers, chief rulers, governors, etc. Prophet Noble Drew Ali said that both are to work hand in hand with each other, and those who act as in a Supreme Council, duties were to continue on with each other, and those who act in a Supreme Council duties were to continue on with day-to-day functions of this divine movement, while the Grand Body was to intercede that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali was the law and at the head of this divine movement. Now the Prophet Drew Ali announced that the following adept chamber members would be seated on the Supreme Grand Council. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Supreme Head and Supreme Chairman. Brother Edward Mealy L., Supreme Grand Sheikh and Grand Governor, Temple Number 1. Brother James Lomax Bey, Supreme Grand Governor and Grand Governor, Temple Number 4. Brother Richard Ross Bey, Temple Number 1. Brother C. Claude Green Bey, Supreme Business Manager, Temple Number 1. Brother Blackwell Bey, Temple Number 1. Sister Pearl Ali, Supreme Grand Secretary, Temple Number 1. Then Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, "Follow me and you will be happy." The Prophet also announced that a per capita tax had been voted in by the Grand Body and concurred with by the Supreme Grand Council during the second sitting of the Supreme Grand Council. Now, once we get to where we're at right now, right, and we're asking the question about Supreme Grand Council, and people who aren't talking about Supreme Grand Council, they're dirty people or whatever like that, there's nothing spoken of about the people who have been in Supreme Grand Council, because you can look them up. Supreme Grand Council still around right now. They got P.O. Box, they got address, they got people who are in the seat or whatever like that. So it's not like there's no Supreme Grand Council. There is a Supreme Grand Council. The issue that has come up is that the individuals who are in those seats right now, we don't really know who these people are. Because if they're talking about 2021, there's Supreme, oh yeah, that was downstairs, yeah. Anybody talking about Supreme Grand Council in 2021, but they're not talking about Moorish Manufacturing Company, there's a problem. If they're talking about Supreme Grand Council, but they're not talking about Grand Treasury, there's a problem. If they're talking about Supreme Grand Council, and they're not talking about all these classified people who don't have a nationality yet, 2021, there's a problem. And it does not revolve around individuals who realized that there was a problem and started doing their own thing, because these corrupt people. The problem is the corrupt people. But what you have is people not wanting to deal with the corrupt people. They want to find everybody else that they can deal with in order to try to do something. Joali himself said that the grand body has accepted his choice in the setting up of the Supreme Grand Council of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Supreme Grand Council of the Moorish Science Temple of America, not the Supreme Grand Council of the Moorish Nation. The Supreme Grand Council of the Moorish Science Temple of America, which is a specific jurisdiction. During the time of Noble Drew Ali, there were certain things that were in place. Why are those things not still in place? You should be asking Supreme Grand Council that. Why don't we have certain things as Moors? Why is it such a hard task for Moors to put the word out? Have quote unquote city, province, state, whatever recognition, because of these same people who've been in the seat and haven't done what they're supposed to do in the seat that they're in. And that's who has to get addressed. You're not going to address Moors who we're not part of the temple, number one. Like, we're not part of that. Because when we were brought into this, the people who were in the seat of Grand Major Temple number one, calling themselves Supreme Grand whatever, they had gay porn magazines at their house and stuff like that. That's why the Moors who we were resonating with weren't in Grand Major Temple. They were doing their own thing. Not because they're against the Prophet, that they were doing their own thing. Not because they didn't want to follow the rules and regulations or whatever like that, but there were corrupt people in the seat. So what are you going to do when you find out that corrupt people in the seat? You're going to go play games with them? When you realize corrupt people are in the seat and then they don't want to get out the seat, what are you going to do? Turn in your card and button and say you're going to go back to being a nigger? No. We're Moors. We know about our nationality and birthrights. We know that we have a nationality. We also know that Noble Drew Ali got taken out of circulation in order to have this stuff right now going on that people are complaining about, but not to the right people. They want to just complain to anybody about anything. No, there are specific jurisdictions when we're talking about Moors. Jurisdiction is an issue with Moors. That if we have to, just like the brother said, well, I want a nationality card, I'm Jamaican. You're obviously not competent with regard to what we're dealing with. With nationality card, paperwork, whatever like that. You're just trying to get some stuff off so you can say you have some card or some papers that made you a Moor. When either you are that or you're not. Something can't come in the mail that makes you be a Moor. Right? Go ahead, Mark.
I was going to say, now in looking at that statement again, as you say it, I do realize maybe in his lower self or in his sort of not having done the study, he may be alluding to the fact that connotatively, he's connected to the empire.
Mm.
But,
He did say that he recognizes that Jamaica's a misnomer.
Yeah, right,
so
but
I don't know that, I'm
but
just saying,
right.
but it,
Yeah.
so, you know, he could, just the same way he could say I'm an American, in a sense,
Yeah.
and be connected, but the fact that he's using that
that language,
means that he definitely needs.
right,
And what we understand is that principles of nationality, even when so-called people would come here, they take courses for 6 months to a year,
before they get anything.
and then they have to go do it, write a test
Yep,
before they get, and I see them all the time walking out there with their little paper Canadian.
yeah,
flag.
your little flag or whatever. They're now a citizen.
And now a citizen, now they will pay for their own enslavement,
Mhm.
so, one of the things I think, what I've realized is that the terror and the kind of, trauma that they faced, creates people that, I mean, and this is what this COVID thing is all about too, which is, creating sort of a higher levels of anxiety and bringing about all those kind of, emotions and those kind of, responses. They're looking for a way out.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah.
The
Which
way out-
they should be, you know what I mean?
Which
It's
is
not,
fair
it's
enough,
not a
right.
negative, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
but I think what all of us who have done some studying and understand what this is about, this is the path less, how do they say it? This is the path less taken.
Mhm.
This isn't the common road right now, because all of us, including our parents and our forefathers, have dropped the ball.
Yeah.
So for us now to try and bring this back, there's that much more work to be done.
Mhm.
So each one of us is like a ranger or a representative of the house that we need to clean up. And it's not about being able to get something that's going to give you something, which I think is what the colonizer has done for most of us, to make us feel, oh, if we're in trouble, we go get some welfare, or if, blah, 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 we go to work, we get some check. All of that is a facade. We're not being paid, we've never been given anything. And anything that we're being given is really being applied to our account. In the end of it all, that we have to pay for somewhere else, right?
Mhm. It's long. Right. And again, when we're talking about, grand body and all this, during Noble Drew Ali's time, there was one of those. So if we're in 2021 and there's 20 different people claiming that they're the grand body, and 50 people claiming they're the supreme grand sheik or whatever, how are we now, as competent Moors, gonna say, well, forget them, let's vote some new supreme grand sheik? You're doing the same stuff that they're doing. You're not doing nothing different. You're doing the exact same thing that these corrupt people are doing. Having your way. Right? It's not keep in mind that during the time of Noble Drew Ali, the Moors who were competent during that time, all those people were members of Moorish Science Temple. All of them were members of Moorish Holy Temple. All of them were part of Moorish Divine National Movement. So their say or their input or their involvement was because they're a member. People want to not be a member today and have say in something. It doesn't work like that. You need to be part if you're going to have say. You're not going to, talk about, yeah, well, we want the police to do this and that, and then you're not part of the police board. Well, what do you mean you got some say? You don't have say. It doesn't work like that. The issue that we've had is that so many people have went against what the program is. So many people have went opposite of what they should be doing, that they've created an atmosphere of that being the thing to do. Right? When we say unity amongst the Moors. Where's the Moorish unity? We need our own treasury. You're not having some treasury right now with the Moors who are competent. It's not happening like that. Because amongst the Moors who are competent, in 2 years, half those people aren't going to be there because they're going to be fed up with this. We're going on 10. You know how many people came in and out these doors right here? You know how many people, if they just shut the hell up, went and studied, and stayed the course, right? And this is with us, this is with Nature's Temple, this is with Brother Alim, this is with people who are Great Seal. You name the affiliation. Guarantee you, if they've been in this for more than 10 years, they can tell you 500 people came through these doors and 100 stayed. And nobody's now questioning these 400 people who left, who turned in their fez and button and all that stuff and abandoned this. People who started saying they're not this and now they're talking crazy against this as if it has nothing to do with them or whatever when they were part of it. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to address or have a problem with or critique the people who are doing something. Not gonna critique the traitors. They're not gonna critique the sellouts. They're gonna let those people keep doing their sellout stuff while they're critiquing the people who are doing work, which is absolute hypocrisy. Omar, you had something?
Yeah, I have 2 points of this. One, I've been thinking about this the other day, and this is in conjunction with the Empress that you said called and got, had her finance or her energies abstracted. But the biggest problem here is that we created this mess to begin with, our forefathers did. And that really, any of the activity that we see going on that's good comes from us, and any of the activity that we see is wrong or nefarious came from us as well. And that the individuals that you were telling me about that have come through here and we know that created this mess, it's really that's where it says in the Quran about really it's about dethroning the evil within us. And that these individuals have created this problem. But I'm not surprised that these people are acting like this, because we got into this problem because of this type of thought process back then.
Right.
We're here because we created an environment that did this, and then we fell because of our karmic debt to that. So that's part of our problem. Until we can, and that leads into the other part of this, that until we can unify, because I was thinking about this couple of last days too, that we have a lot of people in here that will call themselves Canadian, but when you start to break down who they are, they all come from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Only maybe 10% you could say would be English in whatever sense, came over here and are Canadian, like that part of the calling. Everyone else is from everywhere else.
Yeah.
But to a man, each one of them will claim their Canadianness when they're standing up for whatever the issue is. Canada, we're Canadian, we gotta do this, blah, blah, blah. We as Moors, you can only get a handful of us to stand on that. You make calls to come and do something, only a handful come out.
Yeah.
So until we can unify, we're not gonna get, because the treasury is really the energy. The treasury is us. The treasury isn't some money coming from somewhere.
Right.
That's why all the finances that you think they're giving you, that's all paper, that's all script. And that's really all a bookkeeping system to then apply it back to our trust or our account that we have given up because we don't know ourselves. But that trust is really us and the work that we have to do. So, when they talk about the dark arts and stuff like that, it's people that look like us that have created that.
Yeah.
And a movie to go watch, I don't know if you guys watched it, because you have the box too, Trafficked. It's on the box, it's a new one, 2021.
Okay.
Go check that one out. That one is crazy. 2021, you gotta watch it all the way through.
Yeah.
2021, it's called Trafficked. It's about the sex slave trade in America. But it was, and there's a scene about an hour and 15 minutes in that just blew my mind away. I thought these guys are messing with me. But then I saw I saw it from the perspective that everything we're seeing and hearing is really our story. The European is our story. That's our story where we went wrong. We created this so-called Frankenstein, and he's now running the show.
Yeah.
If we had to, but the problem was that somewhere there we got lazy. We had a ditch to go dig.
Yeah.
And we decided that we wanted to enslave someone else to do that.
Right. Opposed to dig our ditch.
Dig our ditch.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I tell you all, just go watch traffic. As I said, the way shows are nowadays, it's kind of crazy, but this one really hit me. It's under the 2021 heading there. So yeah, and it's the unification. Until we can come together, I mean, you say 500 people go through it and on 100 stay. I'd say 500 people come through and 10 stay. You know what I mean? The numbers are that much more drastic.
Yeah. Someone had made a comment about someone made a comment about Taj being the leader of the Moorish nation. He's 80 something, 70 something. What's he gonna be leading like that? It's probably about time, like we were saying the other day, it's probably about time for him to retire from the Moorish whatever.
Well, and it's an testament to how crazy
Like-
our situation is that he's still up there.
That he's still up there.
You know, we'll see him probably in 10 years, 5 years from now, still up there in a wheelchair.
Yeah,
You
still
know
up
what I
there.
mean? Just trying to,
Still up there. Deathbed. Still up there.
saying the same
Still
thing.
teaching.
Saying the same thing.
Same stuff that
saying-
he's been saying for the past 30 years, and then people are mad. Oh, well, he's just talking. Yeah, what else is he gonna do? People aren't active. People aren't taking this information and going and saving themselves, saving their family or whatever like that. People have gotten into the conditioning of you need somebody to come do something for you or whatever like that.
Yeah.
You need somebody to whatever. Yes, we give acknowledgement. Even Raz should be retired. Really working for Moors still. What do you mean he's still doing stuff? There should have been Moorish whatever, where when all the Moors get to a certain age, they get their check or whatever, and they get their house, they get their whatever it is, and they go somewhere and they don't even have to look at this anymore. Go enjoy your life, you put in enough work. There's no more work for you to put in as far as teaching people and all this. Right? It's not a diss, it's what are you doing? Don't worry about what Todd is doing, what he's gonna do and all that stuff. What are you doing? You got birthright too, just like he does. And he chose to do what he did with his birthright. What are you doing with yours? Are you continuing to look to see, well, what is he doing? Oh, he said this, so what are we gonna do? No, what are you gonna do? What are you doing? Go ahead, Berthez.
Yeah, I would say also too, like people are looking at a very top-down approach of the movement, you know, grand council and grand this and grand that, and it's like, if they don't, like there should be a perspective and a focus on their local movement.
Say that again.
A focus on your local movement.
Mm-hmm.
And that starts with self. You know, and then it's the people right next to you. You know, your brothers and your sisters and your people in your community right around you. And nationality has no limits or bounds from the individual to millions and millions. So you don't need a grand council or a grand whatever to have nationality. Nationality is your birthright. And so people, you could tell that they're missing that point just from the jump, from their focus on these grand concepts, these grand unifications. Yeah, they're necessary and they'll happen, but like the prophet really meant it when he said, like, you don't really get what I brought you, like, you don't understand.
You don't get it.
the concept. Like, there's only corporations here, and the only thing here that's legit is still beholden to you on a de jure level, on a de jure imperial level. And the only other people occupying are also beholden to you on an imperial level. Like, there's no, you know, Holy Roman Empire in North America. There's no Soviet Union occupying North America. There's no socialists or communists occupying North America, right? If anybody's occupying, it's British, and if anybody's as a de jure tenant, it's United States of America Republic. And they're both contracted to the Moorish Empire.
Yep.
So when
Nobody
he came-
else.
Nobody else. So when he came and said, you don't understand what I brought you. And you're gonna go around in circles, and there's people who are gonna try and take control of the movement, and they're gonna sway you, and they're gonna do this, and they're gonna do that. And people, and new Moors coming in aren't realizing that those are crucial warnings to take heed and really be critical of what they're observing when they look at certain other Moors. And from the and with the proper knowledge of the history, he said, "You are home." You know, and I've given you the keys to the vast estate. So, you know, there's a divine level of that, and there's a national level of that. The divine level can't even be described in words. The national level, from Alaska to the tip of Chile. You know? If you know who your mother is, then what do you even,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
card?
Yeah,
What?
'cause- so for example, somebody in there said about, Noble Drew Ali brought us our nationality. No, he didn't. He never brought us something that we're born with. He brought us the truth about it. He never brought us it. It was already there. If he brought us the truth about it, then how he get it? Obviously he didn't have it, or it didn't exist, if he's gonna be bringing it.
And if you're, at the time of that, if you're real Moor, you really are studying, you would know that the Moors opened prior to
Yeah.
Right.
There was Moors in America, which would mean they're Moorish American, before Noble Drew Ali starts saying we're Moorish American. Where do you think he got the brilliant idea of we're not Negroes, we're Moorish American? Where do you think he got the brilliant idea from? Obviously they were Moorish Americans.
And then that's why those brothers and sisters at the time were so quick and were so close to him. Oscar the Priest,
Yep.
Louis Anderson, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, etc., etc., etc. And then Moors today are gonna sit and, like you said, check for some person sitting in front of the same door every other 2 days, 3 days. Alright, yo, peace fam, I'm here. Turn that down. Oh, well, yeah, I know my thing. Every 2 days, and well, they want to know what this person's saying, and they want to know if they're the supreme so and so, or if this other one is the supreme so and so, and they can't get no response from barely any response from no government, so-called government official, even de facto. Meanwhile, back in Drew Ali's day, at the priest in the temple, Louis B. Anderson in the temple. You know what I'm saying? Rally the community, get him in. And these people are talking about friggin' some person, some people claiming such and such, and you know what I mean? They're either begging the de facto for something, or they're claiming that they're gonna have some connection with the facto, they're gonna do something in due time and one day and all this nonsense. all this one day nonsense. You know? So,
Some stuff. Yeah, some stuff.
Yeah, but the other
and that's too, it's like, that's not the right perspective. If that's where it was in the 20s, then the perspective shouldn't be to be trying and begging. If you're trying, then if you feel like you have to try, then it's not correct. Like if your pops and my pops was homies back in the day, then why would either of us feel some kind of way to come check the next each other? Doesn't make sense.
Why we
It
shouldn't?
doesn't make sense.
Why we shouldn't feel like we could? That's what you're saying? When we should be able to, is what you're saying?
Yeah, but and if it's like I give you a buzz and I don't get no response or vice versa, then clearly one of us has the wrong perspective. And it's like neither of us should be trying extra hard because it's like there's already a certain interaction.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
You know? But that's the thing, it's like, or maybe you're not really the son of the man. You know what I mean? Maybe you're not really his son.
Bastard.
You're an imposter, because if your pops and my pops is homies, then you would know, oh, that's so it's automatic.
That's not for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So these people need to recognize that, like, that's why Joali said, I'm going to the governor's inauguration. He invited me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm gonna be at the president's inauguration.
No, I'm not begging to go to their stuff. They're telling me, come to the thing.
Come to the
We
thing.
want you to be there as Noble Juali. We know who you are. You're getting an invite. No different than Haile Selassie for the coronation inviting the Jews of Harlem who were Moors. Giving them personal invite. I want you guys at the thing to participate in my coronation. Right? Because there's a relationship there that is obviously ancient. It's not some modern thing. Just today I realized, oh yeah, oh you're the son of whatever. Oh yeah, come on now. I would have been known that you were the son of yours.
If they're serious about the prophet, do the research on his time. And who's this president that he's talking about? And who was there before and after? And who was Calvin Coolidge? And what kind of person was he? And who was the next one there? All the Moors, all even the so-called blacks from back in those times were saying, oh, he's a brother. He's passing. Like, we know his family. He's a brother. The Europeans think that he's European, but he's a brother. Right? So, if you look up,
Do you want to talk now?
If he needs to.
forget the friggin' Harding, of course, Warren G. This is the night, hip hop in the 90s, you know, Warren G.
Yeah.
So Warren G. Harding was the president. Was the president back in the 20s. And then you had Calvin Coolidge. You know what I'm saying? And then after Coolidge, you had Herbert Hoover. And then who was Hoover? He was the FBI dude. He was the guy who went after Marcus Garvey. And then
they said it personally on Marcus.
And he wanted, he was that type of person. But he was that type of dude who he didn't, like he wasn't on a deeper level. You could tell if you really study the thing. And since then, it's been the fakeness. Because you had Woodrow Wilson and the New Deal and all that stuff. And then from 50s and 60s, you had the whole international monetary system just switch up. Which is, and you have the system that we have now. Right, Jody says it's a different time. This is not for the Moors right now. This is for more than future generations. But things are going to be different. Like they're not going to be inviting Moors nowhere. But I'm going to the governor's inauguration, and then I'm going to the president's inauguration. Why? Because some of those, like Calvin Coolidge was a European.
Yeah.
But then Harding was a brother who they said he's passing.
No, that's in here, right?
But regardless, it's like behind the scenes, they're all working together. Why? Because it's the Republic. Because the Republic is already being attacked and trying to be undermined. Come write these checks for us. Come print this money for us. Come go around the world and fight these wars for us. International interests, right? Not on a Monroe doctrine perspective of, well, we're all in the same hemisphere, so we might as well work together. Might as well trade amongst each other and protect and make sure, and then we don't have to do all this madness. But certain other interests came in and said, nah, we want to use you. We want to use that name. But that wasn't even fully like, in the 20s, there was a whole movement next to the Moorish movement that included Europeans and all types of other people. But see, and like, you always said study, like for real study. You know what I mean? And it's all even before that time, like from the 80s, mid 80s, and up to 1900s. Right, but then Bretton Woods in the 1960s, and they said, nah, start printing these USD notes, not backed by gold, because they took all the gold from the people. Because they went to the people and said, yo, is this your land? Like, that is our land. You sure? You sure if I don't go back, I won't find that it's really a Moorish land? You better give us that gold. You better give us that gold, otherwise we'll tell on you. So the people gave him their gold. Why else would you, what could be more important than gold to a person? What reason could somebody give to make you give up your gold? Your land. Your land. People that's why they give up their gold. They probably don't even tell their children why they gave up the gold. Yeah, we still got our land. So that they could use, the international interests could use this union. Use this, the sub-entity of the Moroccan Empire to the detriment of all in the society.
I wonder if that's a kind of a scheme to play with 80 after all, we're going to have to pay them. 80.
Similar scheme as Haiti.
Yeah, because you have to pay them money.
Similar scheme.
You come to my house, I beat you, you're going to have to pay you up.
Yeah, except fast forward.
Yeah.
They didn't see, with the United States, they took a whole period of saying, okay, not only are we gonna take the gold, take the resources, and have you owe, but in between owing, you're gonna print these notes, and then other people are gonna buy your debt. So now it's like you extend it, you spread it out now. And so all the time that they're printing these notes, this debt is being worth something because the concept is it's guaranteed to be paid back. Except with, recession in the 1970s or whatever, and then recession again in 2000 and all this. Can't pay it back. The debt clock, you go online and look at the debt, all the debts just
Yep,
piling up.
that's
so
just
far.
piling.
Just
That
piling.
clock will let you know.
Could you pay it back to try to, print another 2 trillion and, quantitative easing and this and that and make a big worse and make people think like, yeah, we'll figure something out. We got something figured out. Like, figured out, it feels nothing.
It's making stuff out of nothing.
Yep.
Nothing.
To give people to make them feel better, so you can go there, look at 1, 2 things, Christmas or whatever they do. And then what? Seriously?
Chapter 11, bro.
Exactly.
Just a long period of chapter 11.
Been bankrupt,
Yeah, twice.
been bankrupt.
So I don't get
Ain't
that.
just bankrupt yesterday,
I don't get it.
been bankrupt.
They tell you we've been in the history of Reconstruction.
Yeah.
They tell you, like, every day.
Yeah.
They don't lie anymore.
Yeah.
They don't lie.
Yeah, but no. You guys shouldn't be allowed to reconstruct anything. Not the way you construct it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
but that was the thing, that was the thing
the
that,
walls fall down, right? Because this happened in real.
yeah,
Guys
real
come in,
time.
the walls fell down. Well, I had to get different guys to go build the walls.
Yeah,
So what do you mean you're not letting these people reconstruct and reset and reset?
yeah, when
And we
they
know what they've
been doing a fraud, yeah. Yeah, but that's what we were saying earlier, that the people who are the international people, they're coming here on the guise of they're being citizens of something, don't know that they're selling out their birthright to be property. Which gives these people the power to do whatever, because if everybody's running to them to be a citizen of their stuff, obviously they're somebody. They might not be legitimate, but their company's big enough if all these people are going to go join their company. Whereas during Noble Jew Ali's time, he was talking about the Chinese, the Turks, the Japanese, whatever, they're coming here, they're joining the temple. Because back then the people internationally knew that the United States is some Europeans that got permission from Morocco to be over here. Why are we going to them for citizenship? Doesn't make sense that we're going to them for citizenship. People here, with their lost mindset, they're Negro black colored or whatever. So of course but they themselves know that they can't be citizens of that. Call U.S. or Canada or whatever, because you're Asiatic. That's a European. It's diversity of citizenship. You can't be a citizen of somebody else's nation unless you naturalize. And then when you naturalize, you give up your birthright for the stuff that you're getting. Right?
And it's conflict of interest.
And it's a conflict of interest.
Because you're the homeowner asking the tenant if you could crash for, in
Rent a little.
crash on the couch.
Rent a little corner.
Yeah.
Like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Conflict of interest.
Somebody was asking, is there a connection between Maroons and Moors? Can someone help point me in the right direction? Put that out for anybody to answer.
Well, the Maroons are Moors. First of all, you could get a J.A. Rogers book called Nation Knows on Color Line. 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro, also by J.A. Rogers. Because once you start reading these books, you really know Negro is not even an ancient word. So if you're an ancient people, why are you calling yourself that? First of all. Secondly, when the Spaniards and Europeans sailed over here, quote unquote, sailed over here, and they said they found people. They said they found people who were, they only knew Africans, what they call blacks to be in Africa in the book, the early Spanish name, but they found them in Japan. Another book talking about the islanders, people of the Caribbean islands in the 1700s, book's escaping my mind right now. But it also speaks about the indigenous people of Trinidad, and they used to wrap their hair with kefi, the people of Saudi Arabia wrap their hair with. You'll see that there. Go in the Library of Congress, you just write American, and you'll just see their pictures of Moors.
Actually, the library,
You can find the Prophets book there.
Yeah, and Set Rock posted a thing of, like a little video, I think it was Set Rock, Nothing More was with you guys? When we all went to the library.
Oh, when we went to the Library of Congress,
And
yeah,
see and you could just see
yeah,
the architecture is Moorish architecture.
yeah, yeah, off the top,
Like it's in a Moorish castle, like,
Yeah,
you didn't even,
One Library of Congress, and right, feds.
on Library of
It's like
Congress.
feds or feds, and you're gonna see a bunch of, you're gonna see Moors, of course, wearing them, internationally, you might even find a couple here.
Mm. Mm.
And then you're gonna see Masons, like,
Yeah.
the President of the United States surrounded by shrines, wearing feds.
Yeah,
With his, initial.
Yeah.
Image there with the shrine.
yeah,
Probably couldn't hold that office without.
just straight up.
They said, no, they just lighter complexion more. I don't know what happened. What was it there? The maroon. Got some
Yeah,
big words.
go ahead, Mark.
More, maroon,
Yeah,
Moraine, more, that sound.
Yeah.
Fort Moore,
yeah,
Westmoreland, you're not like, these. St. James, you look into the Tudor family, you find out that they're Moors. Right, James II on Library of Congress, you're gonna find a photo of Moor. You're gonna wig it in.
That person's in yard? That one
I'm not sure if they're in the yard or not. But, okay, so they brought up, the Taino and the Arawak are Moorish tribes, but I only found that in one source. Exactly. Why do you think you only found that in one source and not multiple? Right? Obviously, they're hiding information. Obviously, like Moore said, they've reconstructed history, and we think history is something when it's not that, and then we're going on what history is not. Right? For example, when we were talking about the Supreme Grand Council, right? History tells us that James Lomax Bey is a traitor to the Moorish movement. So if a traitor had a seat on the Supreme Grand Council and then Noble Drew Ali transitions, then why are we talking about Supreme Grand Council when it's on? Claude Green Bay, he's a traitor of the Moorish Science Temple, of the Moorish movement, Moorish nation, traitor of Noble Drew Ali. So if they were on Supreme Grand Council and then Noble Drew Ali transitioned, got murdered, got killed, got assassinated, whatever, and then these people who are traitors are still here and he's not here, then you're wondering why you don't have a treasure? You're wondering why there's confusion? You're wondering why, and then knowing that, nobody's going to arrest these people who are claiming that they're, how come nobody went to, what's his name again, Isaldine? How come nobody went to Lomax Bey's new name, under his new organization, and question him on, hey, how come you're not Lomax Bey anymore? Like, why are you Isaldine Mohammed or whatever, and then you have some new temple that you started over there? How come you're not Moorish Science Temple anymore? Oh, they don't want to deal with that, right? Claude Green Bay, right? Aaron Tainell, supposed to be the lawyer for the prophet and all this stuff, and he's writing on the death certificate tuberculosis and Noble Drew Ali died of stuff that he could cure. How's nobody questioning him? You know what I mean? Nobody's not questioning him? How come nobody's questioning how come Aaron Payne was calling himself reincarnated Noble Drew Ali and all that? Right? Richard Ross Bey. Only time you see him is in the Chicago Defender newspaper when there was an article about Noble Drew Ali, and there was an article about Noble Drew Ali going to all the different temples, and they had Drew Ali's picture in it, and they had Richard Ross Bey's picture in it. Other than that, I don't even know who Richard Ross Bey is. Right? Word is that even when Kirkman Bey took over, under the guise that they had the authority to do whatever it is that they're doing with Mark Fezzes and all that stuff, Nobody's not talking about him going to Pearl Ali after Drew Ali got assassinated and strong arming her to give up all the stuff. Not going there, but Kirkman Bay people are still around today though. And they got temples today. And they're still going around, parading around as if they have some type of authority when they're criminals. He's more Islam.
So we're looking to probably get something going on, for vernal equinox, however it happens, no matter what state they're in. We'll probably, if it has to be, it'll be, outside, all right? Well,
Right? Yeah.
just remember that.
Yeah. Right? So the history of the Supreme Grand Council tells us that there's corruption. Especially if the people who were on Supreme Grand Council are still around today in some form or fashion, but then they're not exercising out of what this really is. They're making Supreme Grand Council some little thing over here, and we're just dealing with this little stuff over here as Supreme Grand Council for the Moorish, whatever like that, and then nobody that's a part of Grand Major Temple, as far as members or whatever, none of them are asking questions about where's the treasury. If you guys were in charge of all the finance, according to what Noble Drew Ali saying, the Supreme Grand Council is going to be in charge of all the stuff, then where's all the stuff you were supposed to be in charge of? How come there's nothing for the Moors right now? Nothing? Zero? All they have is Grand Major Temple in Chicago, that's it? And then all these little subordinate temples, whoever decides to quote unquote be under them. And then when you get under them, they're making you hold their umbrella while they walk and carry chairs and all this type of stuff. Like what is that? How is that the activity that's taking place? And then again, these people who call themselves Supreme Grand Council and all that stuff that have done nothing, absolutely nothing with what Noble Drew Ali left, they have contact information right now. Phone number right now that you can go call them. They're not gonna call them. You're gonna make videos and talk crazy about Moors who are active and who are doing things and trying to do something to uplift our people and have them heading in the right direction. Never say anything to the traitors and the sellouts and the whoever else that's taking a position of making a mockery of this. Right? And again, they only do that because they already know that these Moors ain't gonna do anything to us for being sellouts. We're not gonna do nothing. What are they gonna do? Like Moors said, all these Moors are gonna do is talk. Right? And it is what it is.
On the other side won't do nothing.
Right?
The corporate side won't do nothing.
Exactly. Right? Right,
It's like the one, what's his name there, that created his little law firm in there. Brompton.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they won't bother him because they know he's leading the people astray. It's okay.
Yeah, something. But you start taking food out of their mouth. They'll deal with it.
Well, he's probably saying that he's not taking food out of their mouth.
Yeah, or food that they
They
can't
can't
have.
lead them astray.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys don't have this. I'm not selling nothing you guys are selling. So what are you selling?
right, and someone had said Lomax Bay and Claude Green were removed before the Prophet's transition. If they were removed, well, then why are they members of the Supreme Grand Council? If they were removed. If they were removed by the Prophet, then why is their name
So,
on the list of the people who are Supreme Grand Council? Right.
scratched off.
If they're so removed. Right, and Amor just said that Supreme Grand Council right now, Supreme Grand Council is telling people 700 to be part of that. Why would you want to be part of that? How is that something for us to say, oh yeah, those Moors over there, let's go see what they're saying over there because they're calling themselves Supreme Grand Council? No, they already played their hand. They already showed their cards and all that stuff. We already know that these people got cards on their sleeve, up their foot bottom, they got cards hiding and all that stuff. Under their fez, they got cards hiding. You still playing games with these people? We still think that there's a fair game going on with Moors? Moors got cards all over the place talking about, well, no, we're not cheating. Cards sticking out from their mouth and stuff like that. You could see that these people are cheating. You could see that they're engaged in corruption. And then nothing is said to these corrupt people, but the people who are doing work, the people who are doing their best with the limited stuff that we got to try to do something with this, those are the ones who are looked at as causing a problem or causing confusion or whatever. That's a fiction. That's a fiction. Don't even dare fall for it. Right?
Maroon in Jamaica, does it mean also runaway slave?
That's what I know. That's what they put on it.
That's what they put on it.
Yeah,
Runaway slave.
yeah. They put on it that the Maroons were the ones who were the rebellious ones.
Yeah.
But then if they were so rebellious, then if they were so rebellious against slavery, then why is there a Maroon treaty where they're telling the British, if we see slaves, we'll tell you they're over there?
And also too, that means they are not from Africa, so-called.
Right.
That was brought there.
Yeah.
That means who brought there are slaves. So Maroons are not slaves.
Right.
But they're not slaves. Then that means they are from there. But then how will you term them now as the runaway slave when they're not slaves?
Yeah. Yeah.
Make
Yeah.
the stories dry.
Yeah,
Everyone's
yeah.
a slave trade this.
Yeah.
And that's going back to the whole thing with the Reconstruction.
Uh-huh.
That Drawley told us back in the 20s, have our own press. We didn't want to do that. We didn't want to do that. So now anybody could tell our story. And then now we're dealing with other people who have told our story, and then people going with these other people who told our story, that when we start talking our story now, people looking at us like we don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right? When we're the ones who know what's talking about. We're the ones who are the Moors. You're not going to go to Negroes and then have them tell you Moorish stuff.
And
You know what I mean?
Those Negroes will sit there and tell you that the Moors are the ones who sold this.
Yeah,
Moors
to tell you Moors sold out. Yeah.
Moors kept their nationality. Moors fought for this. What did
Yep.
the Negroes do?
Yeah.
Conform for the crown?
They're misunderstood when they're talking about sellout. They are the ones that sell out. Like the rest of Jamaica, sell out and agree with the Queen and whoever. But Maroon said, no, I still care, but we can have a treaty going.
Yeah, like for example with temple membership, right? Ample amounts of Moors tried to go to Grand Major Temple, Bratton Bay and Naturalization Temple. They had to go to whoever over there's temple, these guys down here's temple, and get rejected. Now they realize, okay, well, obviously those aren't the people to go to. They go to us to say that we have honorary membership, so we're gonna go to Canaanland Temple, and then now those people who rejected them are telling them that, oh, they're wrong for joining somebody else's temple that's not in the grand body or that's not whatever, and they're not following the prophet. So, but you rejected them. Are you complaining now? You're complaining now? After you reject them, you're complaining that somebody's doing something wrong, and they'll never point the finger at themselves that, yeah, well, we messed up because, when he came, we didn't let him in the building. You know what I mean? You didn't. Huh?
Why would they let him in the building?
Well, I mean, when we went to Pittsburgh, to the temple in Pittsburgh, right? We had to look in the mail slot
See if someone was there.
to see if somebody was in there. Because we were banging on the door, nobody coming to the door. And there's no way that nobody's at the temple. Why would nobody be at the temple? You know what I mean? Like, why is there nobody here? Somebody has to be here. You know what I mean? Yo, just look in the mail slot. See if anybody's there. Look in the mail slot, people in there. People. Multiple Moors in the temple. Right? So they come to the door, you know what I mean? Open the door, get out, close the door behind them. All right, well, fine, we'll talk out here. Yeah, you know, Islam, we just came here to see the temple because, we're Moors. Well, temple's closed, we got something going on, whatever. Tutus, upon them going back inside, no, we seen inside the picture on the wall with Noble Drew Ali, and then the other picture with Givens L, who was claiming to be reincarnated Noble Drew Ali, which is why we need these people are traitors or whatever like that. No wonder they're not opening the door. Because
outside and now it's this guy inside.
Yeah. Right? So yeah, they have a picture of Noble Drew Ali up, but they're really riding with the reincarnated prophet. They're not really riding with Noble Drew Ali. They're riding with reincarnated Noble Drew Ali as if that's Noble Drew Ali reincarnated for real. When that's a fiction. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, that reminds me of the whole Judas story. And the way that people perceive it and the way that if you read it for yourself, you clearly see Wagwan is the prophet and 12 disciples, and people say Judas sold them out because he told the Romans who he was. Like that's him there, or that's him. That's what he looks like. Right? Because back in the day,
Kiss him or something like that.
kiss him on his cheek so that the Romans know who he's talking about. Jesus. Okay. That's one way you could identify somebody, but if they really want to know who he was, they're going to find out. It's the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
And during the Last Supper, Jesus tells all of them, like, none of you guys are going to be there, man. Like, none of you guys are going to be there. None of you guys really have my back like that.
Yep. Same thing Noble Drew Ali told these Moors. You guys aren't really with the prophet, really.
And even the story, even when you look at the story of on the cross, like it's who's there? His mother and Mary Magdalene, and the two other dudes beside him were getting whatever crucified. And people forget that out of the 12 disciples, none of them stayed to the end.
Yeah.
So it's this scapegoatism. Just pick one and Judas, that guy's a Judas, man. Judas. Judas is scary. That guy's a seller. One seller. To give people this impression that, you just need to find one, blame it on them, and that's it. That's the bad guy. Other group, that's a snitch, that's a seller, that's whatever. And everything's good. And keep it moving.
Yeah.
It's like, nah. That's not the pattern. The pattern, when it comes especially to prophets, universal prophets, is like, it's always a big circle, and usually very few in the circle who are true, even in a close circle. And that's something important for Moors to realize and recognize, right? It's a pattern. Recognize the pattern.
Yep.
Instead of,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Believe in the hype.
Recognize the pattern. Don't believe the hype. The hype is this stuff's all together because you see buildings, say, in Moorish Science Temple, and you see Grand Sheiks out there and Supreme Grand Sheiks out there, and the Moorish nation is no, it's not. No, it's not. Shit is in rubble right now. Rubble. And nobody wants to come do the floor and put up the wall and paint and whatever. Everybody just wants to sit back and just wait. Just wait for the Moors to get their stuff together, and then once it's together, oh yeah, I'm a Moor. I got a nationality card right here. Put me on the list. So I can. I want to be part of the same nation now. Now that it's not rubble anymore, now I'm ready to be a Moor. No, you better get on your boots and stuff like that, put on your little apron, and let's get some stuff done.
So regardless of what happened previous, right? The whole world's at a reset right now.
Yep, because of the Moors.
Right? And we, as a nation, still waiting for something?
Yeah.
We're
still-
all their stuff's falling and crashing.
We're still waiting for the head. We're still waiting for the head, the new noble Juali to come down in order to sanction us to be able to do something.
Or Trump,
Yeah, yeah.
or the, you know.
Yeah,
this
the
party
Republic,
or-
wait for the Republic to be back.
To be back.
So then we're gonna start building up our stuff or whatever, right? Just build,
There you
right?
go.
Especially, and just like Tez was saying, especially where you're at. Especially where you're at. Wherever you're at, if you're a Moor and you're somewhere, and there's another Moor over there, and there's another Moor over there, then you probably should get together and get some stuff done.
Yeah.
This is not no rocket science.
Yeah.
Probably easy. Because what? We have come from Saga, which is way over there. East, way over there. Right? West, way over there. East. But we're here in one location. Right? And then all the other Moors who are out here that are from wherever they're at, Moors way down there. So, you know what? I'm not gonna go with these black guys over here, or these Negroes over here, or these Africans over here. I'm a Moor. I'm gonna go be where the Moors are at, as far as where I domicile. Why would I be anywhere else? Especially if the Moors are doing something relative to helping the people, assisting the people, help, you know what I mean? Helping me help myself. Then why not? Why wouldn't I be there? You know what I mean? To keep the momentum going. Right? But everybody wants somebody to be the man to be the whatever. No, it's not gonna work like that.
And that's what they're pushing, that new movie now. They got the new movie about the Black Panthers.
Oh yeah,
Judas
the
and Black
Judas.
Messiah.
Yeah.
That's why it was on my mind.
Yeah.
It's like for a long time, I never liked that, the way that perspective.
Yeah.
Because fortunately for me, I was taught that story from a perspective of looking deeper.
Yeah.
And even from very young. Like, check it, like, read it, you know,
Yeah.
as a boy, you know, like, grandma showing me, like, yo, it's not, you know what I mean? It's not about choosing one person and blaming on everything on them. There's even a certain history to that.
Yeah.
Of a certain culture doing that. They say that's part of the Israelite culture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's somebody else throwing somebody else's culture on you.
Yeah.
And if it works for certain group of human nature, it might end up working, but that doesn't mean it's going to benefit us. You know what I'm saying? So that's why right now it's about throwing out this both Judas and the Black Messiah concept. Just throw them out. Because when it comes to, let's say, just as Moors, people who declared and who already know, who have some knowledge, then Juali came. He said, I'm coming. He came, right? He said, 50 years, you forgot about it, another 50 years, you won't even know that I was here. But he said, in the year 2000, more are going to come to their own. And this is for y'all generation. And the children who are now, that's who it's for. So it's like we're saying, just build local, build who you're at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
As a first step.
Right.
A first step,
Right.
wherever you're at, find Moors where you're at. Unify with those Moors. Yeah. Yeah, just the tape. You can pull it down. Yeah, the tape. I think the tape's
The timing on that, when I first came into the knowledge of this information, was an RV thing. I saw Canaan, find out what that is. So I clicked on it, find out there are more in the city that I don't know, but the territory I domicile. So the first thing I do, I call Grand Sheik on the number that was there. Got a favorable apply. From there, I've been here. Going on 5 years now.
Yeah, it's long.
It's long.
Yeah.
And I was calling off hours. I said, you know what, I'm gonna call one Sunday, yes?
Yeah.
Calling out.
Right?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's, you know,
Everyday
it's
thing.
corporate money, nah, but, nah. It's so bad.
Yeah. You know, and somebody said, work show. Active Moors spend much time combating BS. I think that is a distraction from tangible building and investing. Just like we're saying, the tangible building and investing should be with the Moors where you're at before anything else. You're not gonna tangibly, you can't tangibly build with somebody over there. It's not, you can't build like that. We can't build a Moorish whatever, and then people are flying in from all over the place to come. No, where you're at is where you're gonna build the stuff at. You know what I mean? And then once that's built, that should inspire some other people to do the same thing where they're at. Because this is not a thing of a leader guy. Every man unto himself is a priest. Sheiks are born, not made. So either you're going to be born and start acting like sheiks, or you're going to have traitors posing as grand whoever, supreme grand whoever, and putting up this illusion that titles is what it is and all that stuff, right? Like somebody saying, somebody said the thing, well, yeah, I'm, you know, the supreme grand whatever. All right, over who? You know, supreme grand whatever over me, because I never voted for you. How are you supreme grand? Oh well, the Moors and our temple, and okay, well that's where you're at, right? I'm not as a grand sheik gonna go to somebody else's territory and tell them how they're gonna be doing stuff or whatever when they got grand sheiks there, right? That's not my jurisdiction to talk like do this, do that, because no, you go deal with the sheiks where you're at. You know what I mean? And again, you realize that they're corrupt. Now you're gonna start trying to find something that's relative to where you are in your mind, where you're at. Find Moors relative to where you're at. You know what I mean? And there's ample Moors who are, well, I'm the only Moor here. There's nobody else here, or whatever like that. 4 months later, here come 20 Moors.
In the universe.
Right? Just like that. There's more than one more there.
Once it's like,
yeah,
somebody on the friggin' channel right now.
yeah.
Where are you more at? I'm here, I'm by myself. I'm in such and such. Next thing you know, 2 minutes, literally.
2 minutes.
Oh, so I'm like,
you're what? Oh, yeah. Send me your email. Send me your number. I didn't know there were Moors out here. Of course there's Moors out there. Why wouldn't there be Moors out there? You know what I mean?
ROE still.
Yeah.
It's like, really?
Yeah.
You're right there.
Right over there.
Right there.
Right?
You know, right around the corner from McDonald's, and then you know about down by the racetrack. Oh, shit.
Yeah. Just like that. Yo,
Yep.
I'm telling you. And then the next more he moves, and then he's right there too. So it's like, wow.
Mhm.
It's like, yo.
Right?
Somebody all in the NBA and all types.
Thing loves that guy.
Big.
Sadiq Bey.
Yeah.
Yo, every
Yes,
he's hard that you want
You talking about Isaiah Thomas?
No, Sadiq
Sadiq
Bey.
Sadiq Bey, but who he said?
Chris Sakiba.
Of course.
Watching the highlights.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
So
How you like though?
And then the more, he's like, so Morris, the Morris brothers.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
So I'm like,
I know they got their Moorish beard and all that
those
stuff.
guys are black man in there.
Yeah.
They don't mess around. So
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, he's seeing it. He's like,
Yeah, they don't play.
their boss is like, so.
Like I don't know. Their name's Morris though, so
You know.
take it with a grain of salt.
And then,
You know?
was it? I think it was 8th and the 9th. Those games, Brooklyn had. Kyrie was out.
Yeah.
Nah, I won't be available until like the 10th.
Yeah.
7th to the 10th.
Yeah.
But like they told, he told them last night, the day before, and everybody, and even Steve Nash said, "Oh, I don't know. I'm sure he'll be back because he has a personal. I'm sure it's nothing. Like he messaged the team members and said it's not no emergency or anything. It's
That's
just,
not part of that.
I'm not gonna be there. I'm not playing. Those 2 games I just took.
The media was trash.
And the media is hard.
Eating him, yo.
Quote, retired. That was Steven that couldn't believe it.
Oh yeah, see me. We see this.
He
It's
should
like, yo.
retire. And when he's serious about playing, then come. Yo, you see when the man started, still the story. But you see when he came back now, and then people realized what he was doing, no one said a peep.
Yeah.
But you mean the man's buying house for people and doing his community things.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm out.
Yeah.
After entertaining you guys, no, I got stuff to do.
Yeah.
And I'll be back. And he came back balling, yo.
Oh yeah.
That's what I mean. Those guys, that's another one. All those guys have a job is talking about will you have people and things in sport. It's like your job, that whole arena filled with people working is for those 10 people on the court.
Yeah.
Come on, all that training staff, all the people you don't see ever touch the ball once.
True.
Come on. And they talk about, oh, you get paid millions. But, yo, you have your own talk show about sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get paid to run and jump, you get paid to talk.
About them. That's why it's like, yo, Kyrie, if you're not serious, I'm gonna lose. Like, you know what I mean? Those guys, yo, I got nothing to talk about. The Toronto guys, because we're not, the Raptors or wherever, they're still at the Scotiabank Arena.
Yeah.
Watching the game, doing their commentary.
As
like
if
they're in
Tampa. Yeah.
Oh, that's true, the Raptors, but I'm like, yo, it's so, if people don't figure this out right now, like it's scary.
Yeah, yo. I mean, yeah.
They said survival rate of this, what is it, like 90?
99 something.
99. 116-year-old lady can survive it.
Like, come on, yo. Come on. 116 years old?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
No
Come on.
underlying ailments.
Right?
That must be a part of it too, right? You can't be susceptible to the cold.
Oh yeah, and then
Beat the cold. That
Yeah.
just makes sense.
yeah.
Right? You can't be susceptible to bee stings and then go walk into a cave full of bees.
Mm-hmm.
Disturb, like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to know yourself, but I don't know why. Anyways, I'm not going.
Right.
They're wearing this other journal stuff.
That's
Operating their conveyor.
But
Go.
someone said to do
By
that.
yourself.
By themselves.
But someone said to do that.
Which is odd.
And that was it, no one that looked like you that said to do that.
Straight.
See, that's my problem with it. You're not my mother, you're not my father, and how are you telling me, you know what I mean?
Yo.
I have a real problem with that.
Well-
Okay, don't walk there, it's dangerous, we're doing pothole work. Okay, thanks, sir, thank you. You don't tell me what to wear, you don't buy my clothes, you don't dress me, like, you don't breathe, you don't feed me. You never asked me what my children's, we never had a beer together.
Yeah.
You
Nothing.
have no say in my life.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, so as I said, I'll wait for this to figure out.
Yeah, straight.
I'll be over there working for whoever's ready, I'll be over there doing that, that place should be done soon. That's what I'm gonna do.
Straight.
Oh, that crazy post on this now?
Yeah,
According to the
classroom, resource center, the court, learning center, man. Yeah. Yeah, little kitchenette thing there, sink thing, like,
Yeah.
access 24 hours, man.
Yeah.
So, I was just thinking the other days, I seen someone post something for a student, I was like, you can put like.
Put a little.
Yeah, yo, and then the next, I think it was Sumo. He said, me and this guy, we should do a podcast thing or whatever. You see all those guys, they just kick their foot up and talk. Yeah, those are cute. I was like, nah, I'm good. But like, even that scenario, you come in at like 1 a.m. and you do your podcast.
Do your stuff.
Come on. So, I don't know, that's what I'm saying, we're waiting for these guys to turn the lights back on. And we haven't even run wire in our own building.
Yeah.
It's like, it's weird.
Well, it's like
To get the call when it comes back.
Well,
it's like people do, you know, want to wear 2 masks and all kind of things, and then it's like,
Cherry sheet too, don't forget.
when's the last time people changed the air cabin filter in the vehicle?
Oh, don't wear two, that's, right?
You don't glove compartment.
That's a true thing you're saying,
You
right?
know one that?
I seen that cover.
We're gonna
That
change that way.
filters the air that you're breathing while you're in the vehicle.
Yeah.
that you want to be safe from other people's germs and from viruses that are airborne and can jump from here to there and so on and so. But bet you people wearing glove masks, all types, masked up in your own car. Go look at that nasty, go open that freaking glove compartment, look at that air filter.
Yep.
Just wait, oh, they said do this, they said do that, they said such and such. How about think about the situation realistically.
Straight.
And all the air you're breathing through that car is going through that nasty, dirty air filter that you haven't even thought of changing. Why? Because they didn't say nothing. They didn't say go change your air filter.
Yeah.
Duct vents in your home, right?
Right.
But now they just make people afraid of air. Like, you know what I mean?
By yourself, walking up the street. What for?
Yeah.
What for?
Yeah.
Just the air out here.
Yeah. You and air.
Honestly,
You and
okay,
air.
watch this one. If I was afraid of something, I might act a certain way towards it. You know what I mean? Me personally, I spent a lot of time understanding fear. There's a Will Smith movie that I watched a while ago with his son. Return to planet Earth or escape something.
Yeah.
And then they crash and he has to go fight that thing, but
Yeah.
you can only smell fear. Like a dog would smell fear, right? I got chased by a dog young. You have to, control what you let off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But fear is not real then. As I'm paraphrasing. Danger is real.
Straight up.
Right? So, from when you're telling me to protect myself with something that can't protect myself from what you're saying is out there, I cannot be afraid of that.
Right.
From the jump.
Yeah.
But when I see you go, ha, I'm one like this, right? Because I see a sneeze coming.
Yeah.
Like, just like before I work, like guys at work with Kleenex box beside them, sniffling and thing. So I can go back and sue those guys. No, seriously. Because I'm like, yo, that's not right, yo. Go home. Oh, I got bills to pay. Da, 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 da. But when I catch his hachu, I'm out like, in my bed.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
They're,
So it's
they're
all
rolling.
right.
They're rolling the work with the virus.
Right? They just spread it
Just to
around
go
the
spread the
daycares
stuff,
and stuff like that. And like, that wasn't a problem before, but now it's an issue. And I get that. That's very admirable. If you're gonna like eliminate the common cold from the planet, 2 thumbs up. Just like you guys did chicken pox, 2 thumbs up. But I kind of think that you came with the chicken pox too, and then you stopped giving people chicken pox. Well, you eliminated chicken pox, but if they're gonna wipe out Hachu, no problem. No problem.
I feel like that's what they know that it's gonna stop coming.
Like everything else,
Yeah, 'cause it's
So then
some buttercup.
check it.
that's what I honestly feel like.
But check it. If you just stay inside and you avoid all germs and all kinds of always washing off germs from your hands and keep yourself totally sanitized, your immune system isn't doing any work.
No.
Yeah.
It's not doing nothing of what it's
Yeah.
supposed to be doing. It's like when you sit all the time and you don't ever go for a walk, your legs are wondering, what are you doing? Like, I'm supposed to be walking.
Yeah.
You don't have 2 legs are made for walking.
If you don't walk, they'll commit suicide, then they can't walk again.
Right. Because they say, well, you don't want to use me, all right, forget it. I'll just turn off. Right, same thing with the immune system. Now, what did Drew Ali say? He said people are going to have cholera. They're going to have maggots falling out of them.
Maggots falling out of them.
Yeah, I've actually seen that.
You already said
some videos of that.
Yeah, that's in the lip or something.
Nah, some other places.
Yeah.
There you go, bro. He said people are going to be hurting for my cures, for my remedies. Cholera. So, this whole thing is partly like, to me, it's like a test, and it's like a big psyop, big social experiment.
Yeah, definitely.
See what going on, see how people react, so on and so
Definitely,
forth, but there's more to come.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I
this
think
is
I
what
said,
started.
there's more to come. He
Yeah.
said, if they don't listen to my words,
The worst is yet to come.
So you see them they ain't really listening to his words.
Like I said,
But they're still going on with black and white, they're still going on with
Yeah.
this and that, so they're not listening to him.
Straight.
So so that's a simple thing for Moors, it's like, and even for people wondering, like, don't expect things to get better. Yep. If there's still black and white talk going on, as if it's some big group, oh, black.
Exactly.
Then
Say that again.
there's
Shit.
still black talk and white talk going on a political theater and in the media and so on, then you know it's still worse to
It's in
come.
high gear,
Yeah.
but
It's in high gear, right? So if it's in high gear, then you no,
Definitely.
Definitely.
Definitely. It's
Get
coming
ready.
down. You get your shit suit because
Yup.
they're turning on the fan. They're turning on the fan and you're in trouble. You're in trouble. And again with the whole thing of if there's still black talk, white talk and all this stuff, it lets you know that the people who were supposed to do a job didn't do their job because those talks shouldn't even be happening still.
Right.
we gotta deal with it.
If everybody else is talking nationhood and whatever like that, and only some certain group of people are talking about continents and colors as their identity, and you know what I mean, doesn't matter what we say we are, we're the gods of whatever. You better, if you don't do anything else, you better declare your nationality and start getting serious.
Yeah.
Because their people's been playing it.
Nothing.
Yep, they've been
You
playing
don't have
us.
no rights to nothing, so.
Been playing us. Right? And yeah, we know Moors got issues.
You can't say nothing to them either, because you're a part of the car.
We know Moors have issues or whatever, but it's not gonna be some Moors gonna pop out some woodworks. Oh yeah, we started this thing for the Moors and this is gonna help save all the Moors and no, it's not. Stop the dumb stuff. Stop the dumb stuff. You know what I mean? So all these Moors go back to the time of Noble Drew Ali. Honor him. Forget all these other people that you're claiming you're honoring or whatever like that. Go back, honor him. Go back to his lessons, read his stuff, and see what, you know, it's no different than nobody's making any big deal about these temples not taking on the civic approach. Or Moors, you know, Drew Ali said, go to City Hall. How many Moors went there? But they got issues with Moors who are claiming, you know, we're exercising the Second Amendment, we want to have guns or whatever like that. And then this Moor complained and never went to City Hall yet. When Drew Ali said, go there. But then they're not going to bring attention to people that Drew Ali said, yeah, we got tanks and all that stuff. National Guard used to be at the temple. What are they doing there if it's not to defend something? They're just there because they're temple members? Oh, but they're bringing their National Guard uniform to sit there in the temple to be temple members. No, they're not. They're making a statement. They're making a statement. You know? They're not just doing that just because they feel like it, because they're in the Moorish Science Temple. They're letting you know that this is about nationhood. That's why National Guard is here, not Army is here, not military is here, not Marine or whatever, National Guard.
They say more army to war, National Guard.
Right? National Guard's here. You know?
The National Guard to protect homeland?
Right. Because
The soldiers.
we already know
go to
what's
war
going
over
on.
there.
You already know what's going on at home.
Yep. And homeland and the land is
No,
Moorish
yeah.
body.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And they weren't talking about, oh yeah, because we got tanks or whatever, we're gonna go blow up stuff or whatever. Anybody talking like that? You know? But they'll make it seem like, oh, because Moors say Second Amendment, that means they're gonna go shoot the place up, they're gonna go shoot up a school and all this type of stuff, kill the president and all that. No, what are you talking about? Since when?
You know, and the timing of that Constitution is based off of Nationality law, which comes from us. So the Second Amendment, that's our law.
Like,
Most of these Islamic countries, most of them have guns.
yeah, if they don't have that, they got a dagger, switchblade.
Yeah.
They got something.
Something to protect themselves. So
They got something.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Right? But again, when you get to the individuals that should be addressed with regard to certain things, as to why the Moors don't have whatever, right? There's never addressing the individuals who have us in this situation. It's always addressing the people who are trying to get us out of it. Right? We always have a problem with RVB. Oh, they're not teaching what Noble Juali brought, whatever like that. They help more people than any of these Moorish science temples out here, whose job it was for the past 100 years to help people. In the past 30 years, they helped more people than these people in 70 years. And it's actually Moorish science temples' duty to help our people. They're supposed to defend the prophet and the movement and all that stuff. This is your temple, I'm your prophet and all that stuff, but they're not repping that. They're repping go to the mayor and get some proclamation in order to be Moors. Look like we get some flag raising from city of whatever.
Yeah, it is, to me, that's, how do I say, there's distinct. Just pick a side, yeah? Just pick a side. That's all.
Simple. You don't need to talk any BS. Just pick a side. There's the side of the Moors, then there's the side of colonists and whoever else is not on our side. And that's it. That's all. We don't need to know who your Grand Sheikh is, who your supreme whatever. We already know what our flag is. We already know what the prophet is. We already know what our headwear is, whatever. We already know nationality card. What else we need to know? We already know who the master teachers are. We don't need anybody telling us who is a master teacher, who's our master teacher. That should already be known. You know what I mean? And if you don't know, you got problems. The boat has left the dock. You're late, probably.
After you pick a side, run away from the fence, because walls are gonna crash down sometime. You don't want to be standing near that fence or on that fence, yeah?
Yeah.
Just a suggestion.
Oh yeah, and then there were some of the trolls in there talking about where's Moorish consulate court people, they got arrested or whatever like that, they're still in jail. Yeah, they deserve to be, because they're criminal. Those aren't our Moorish brothers and sisters. Huh?
Sorry. No, I was gonna say, so how come when those guys get arrested by the corporation, people want to ask us?
Like what?
Like, we didn't arrest nobody.
You never see me arrest anybody. We never kidnapped anybody. We never whatever, right? We know for a fact that there's cause and effect in motion at all times. When you do criminal stuff, don't get mad when criminal stuff happens to you. Don't get mad. You did criminal stuff. You went on people's website, took stuff, said that it's yours. We can sell this or whatever like that. You put people's face on your website, make it seem like you're legitimate because people are criminal or whatever like that. Got people messed up. Now they get in whatever, and people are see the Moors. And no, don't put us in any category. Don't put us in any category with Res Republica or whatever. Don't put us in any category with Moorish Science Temple Incorporated or whatever. Don't put us in any Moorish consulate, anything like that. We're Canaanland Moors. That's where we're at. We're not all these different whoever's because
We're not lost
you know what I mean?
society
Yeah,
either.
no Marrakesh society and all that stuff. We're not any of those Moors like that. We know them. We know who they are. But we also know that a lot of those people are criminals. Right? We know that. We know that. Because if they weren't, they would be doing more for the nation than they're doing. Right? They're not going to tell me about, yeah, we're for the nation of the Moors or whatever, and every time I see you, you got a McDonald's bag. How are you for the nation, you got a McDonald's bag all the time? How? You don't have anything else? Like, you're not doing anything else as far as the nation part. in order to give you that little whatever, so you can go have a Burger King bag or a McDonald's bag or whatever you want, because hey, you know, you're doing something for the nation. Can't be doing nothing for the nation, and then everything for the colonists and their institutions or whatever like that, and then not look like a traitor or a sellout or whatever. Stop it. Stop it. You know what I mean? No different.
No help, yo. They don't need no help,
Yeah. What help they need, right? And again, it's no different than the Moors who they're gonna talk crazy about more. We don't follow Noble Drew Ali, and you're violating whatever like that. But they're in their video and they got Negroes pictures behind them, not the Prophet, but they're Moors, and they got fake flags behind them. They're Moors, but they don't got their flag. They got some fake flag. They're Moors. Oh yeah, Noble Drew Ali. We need to follow what Noble Drew Ali said or whatever like that. And behind them, they don't got nothing to represent Noble Drew Ali. Nothing. Zero. And critiquing somebody or whatever. Stop it. Like Moore said, pick a side. Either you're on the side with the Moors, so we can get some stuff done, or you're not. And if you're not, it's all right. You know what I mean? We're not worried. It's not a problem. Go ahead, Moore. Couple more questions and we're out of here.
I want to ask a question. What happened to like the Muftis and stuff? What's
As far as generally,
they were around before, doing stuff, and now they don't really do stuff, or is like they just show people to the seats, like, you know what I mean? Don't we have our own? It came up earlier why the people them do whatever they do because they know that the colonists ain't gonna do nothing to them. Not to say something has to happen to the people, whatever. But how come we don't have anyone? I know we're self-governed, whatever, but if someone needs a little bit of help with their self-governance, how come we don't have like people to help enforce what needs to be enforced?
it's similar to how come there's no treasury? It existed, it was around. How come there's no manufacturing? Moorish manufacturing company. You know what I mean? People have came in, did whatever it is that they did. The place is in confusion, and here we are, in confusion. So either we're gonna realize the little parts that are missing, and then we'll say, okay, we could use that, pull that over. Oh, yeah, we could use that. Okay, well, we can't. Holistic health and all that stuff. But like with regard to what's going on, you might have to go to the hospital. We don't have a Moorish version of that. You know what I mean? So you just might have to go there. That's just where we're at as a body of Moors worldwide. Say again?
You could just build a hospital.
Yeah, you could just build one, but you know what I mean? A hospital with no doctors or whatever like that is you know.
Because doctors are good, like, you know what I mean? And they have, most of them have their own little walk-in clinic that they do their thing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure each of us, if we have a family doctor, you say, yo, brand new hospital over here, you have your own wing, and you can do all your surgeries that you want to do to help people that those guys won't let you do.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
It's not something that can't be done. It's just who's really gonna be willing to sacrifice. You know what I mean? And we were talking about it the other day that, we wanna sacrifice, but we have to acknowledge that one, we've been sacrificing, and in us been sacrificing, we're already spread thin. So either people who have done nothing are gonna start doing something, so it's not spread so thin, or, you know what I mean? We're gonna do the best that we can with what we got. And we're not gonna be, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna put my energy toward, I'm gonna put my energy toward Supreme Grand Council, that's way down there, instead of putting it toward having a venue where people could come to learn something. Because that's serving more of a purpose than a Supreme Grand Council will, because we don't even have no Moorish businesses for Supreme Grand Council to do anything with, right? It's a battle enough getting people in the door, and then paying dues, and then on top of that, paying a per capita tax on top of that, so that the Moorish manufacturing company doesn't have to do anything, because there's not even a Moorish manufacturing company right now. So certain things are not even able to be slotted into its particular place. You know what I mean? Like when you're saying with the muftis, right? Yeah, there's supposed to be that avenue where instead of we're calling these people muftis, we call our muftis. There's an issue. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? If you have a controversy and somebody else has a controversy, they're gonna call their guy. You know what I mean? And they're gonna do their, flying through lights with their lights going and stuff like that, or whatever, like pull up 10 cars or whatever like that. Okay, you should have 10 cars pulling up. Like that, logically, you know what I mean? That's where it should be at. If we're our own quote unquote entity. You know what I mean? If we're our own, we shouldn't be going to TV, Royal, CIBC, Scotia, or whatever. We should have our own that we're going to. Right?
So how, sorry to cut, but how hard is that to do? How hard is it for me to say to you, for you to say to him, for you to say to him, and likewise around the room, yo, you know what I mean? I'm not saying it hasn't been done, but I'm saying like, I just started getting some coinage the other day. I'm trying to show a man like, yo, cause that more he gets like, bars and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's good, but I can melt coins down into bars. But then if this coin is like worth something to that person, I can get more than it's worth of silver because it's minted. So that was my thing, you know what I
Right.
mean? Yes.
Correct, so the mint represents a standard. So the image on that coin represents a standard.
Okay.
And that's why you're getting that price. Right, so say you had that same coin, same weight, blank on both sides.
Like a black. Yeah.
What are you gonna get for it in the market?
It's the same as a bar.
No, what are you gonna get for it? Compared to
it's
a
just
coin
weight.
of the same size, what are you gonna get for it?
You're just gonna get its weight in silver. Because it's just a bar.
Is that more or less than the coin that's has a
Maybe less.
less, right? Right, so the standard has a certain standard value to having a standard. That's why you at least said, money does not make a man in a nation. A free national naming standards make a man in a nation. Same thing with the Mufti force. It's not the martial arts or the gun or the scimitar or whatever that makes the Mufti force. It's the knowledge of the Muftis knowing what the law is and them being more faithful to the law than to anything else other the law and the prophet. That's what the Mufti force is faithful to. Just like the guards who protected the Sultan throughout over there or over here, wherever, they were faithful to the empire and to Allah and to whoever was duly appointed Sultan. So it didn't matter whether a certain faction came and they were whatever ethnicity or whatever, didn't matter. They were protecting the empire and the Sultan. And that's like that, to me, that perspective, and they knew, and in order to do that, they have to know what their standards are in their lives. They're not concerned, they were never concerned with what these people out in Asia, East Asia had to say, or what those people out in, Africa had to say, or what they were concerned with the Moroccan Empire and the Moroccan Empire's prosperity and standards. And so the Mufti force is the same thing. But to realize that it's not a search for what code to structure it by. The code is divine constitution and bylaws, and then locally, whatever the body decides locally. And since if you're a Mufti force, you're already part of the body anyway, so that's already in congruence. You know what I'm saying? So in both economics and in security, to me, it's standards is the key. It's important.
Yeah.
The more you really recognize that standards is the key, and that Joe Ali said, I gave you everything it takes to save a nation, take it and save yourself, is you don't have to look for the standards. Some more have these conversations about, let's come together and what rules and so on and so forth.
It's already,
the divine constitution and bylaws from 19 how
What
long?
more you want?
That's it.
Yeah, what more rules you need?
You know what I mean? You can build on top of it, but you don't need to find some new foundation. The foundation has been laid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, again, Mufti force, number one thing, I told this before, is that if there's gonna be a new Mufti force formed even locally, it's like, I'm expecting that the people in that Mufti force are the most knowledgeable, you know what I mean? Like from, they have the Divine Constitution bylaws memorized by heart. The most knowledgeable when it comes to Divine Constitution bylaws. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, say, 101s and prophecies and hadiths, but Divine Constitution bylaws is our law, our standard. So there's a force of Moors moving around anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And people recognize, like when XYZ happens, they react, they respond in such and such a way. Every time, all the time. They always do XYZ, they always do ABC, XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's more risk, and there's no, there's no interest in trying to take advantage of them or betray their trust, because the risk is too high, because they already have an organizational structure of how to deal with people outside of them and how to deal with their own issues.
Straight.
So it's not because they have this weapon or these resources or so and so, it's
Right.
because they have this organization.
And then that's what
Standard.
people get caught up in. For example, like what he's saying, divine constitution and bylaws being a standard for the muftis. Another standard should be served in the military, right? Or you served in something relative to that realm. You know what I mean? The Moorish hospitals gonna have people who that's their lane. You know what I mean? The carpenter guy is not gonna be out there talking about doing
Pass the scalpel.
pass the scalpel. You know what I mean? Why? Why are you even in here? Who are you? You're a carpenter. Yeah, what, you know what I mean? I deal and dabble a little bit, cutting like, no, we don't need diddle daddlers right now. We need people who know what they're talking about.
Man's chest open.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, like,
He just looks at
got
you.
the hammer open in the chest and stuff like that, talking about, yeah, we got this. Don't worry, we got this. No, you don't. You know what I mean? Where's the standard? You know what I mean? The bar has to be set at a certain place so that nobody else can't try to say, yeah, I'm gonna come in. Oh yeah, how much military experience you got? Huh? What are you talking about? Military experience. I thought this was just a thing that'll come off the street and I can be a mufti. No. It's not that. It's not that. And like we're saying, the standard's already been set. You know what I mean? Standard's been set. All we gotta do is recognize the standard and then live up to that. But majority of people, they're not ready for, you know what I mean? You don't pay your dues, so we cut your finger off. You start going there, and then, well, why are you doing that? And what do you mean? I thought we want to be Moors. You believe in Allah? Yeah, the mirror of steel right there. Go ride the mirror of steel. What do you mean? But I believe. Exactly. Yeah. Why wouldn't you want to go meet Allah right now if you love Allah and stuff like that? You know, you jump off the thing. What's the problem? No, well, I didn't mean that. I meant. Oh, okay. Now you don't want to. Now you don't want to. Okay. Oh, your fez is twisted? Oh, that's 10 lashes.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean you don't want your lashes? You want to wear fez, don't you? Yeah, but I thought that you meant. Oh no. The standard is.
Real lashes.
The standard is there.
Eyelashes.
You know. You know what I mean? And that's just where it's at. Like, it's not. You know what I mean? We're in a messed up predicament. You know, it doesn't mean all is lost and throw in the towel or whatever. It just means we gotta do some more work than we think we gotta do. You know what I'm saying? There's a few, we need a few people around these boulders to pick these boulders up, because we don't got no heavy machinery to move the boulders. So let's everybody grab a side and let's drag these boulders out the way so we can get some stuff done. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Don't be in front of it. Especially going downhill. Please don't be in front of the boat. Peace and love to all the Moors. Yeah, that's all it is. We just gotta keep working. You know what I mean? It ain't nothing. We just gotta keep working. Honest to the Moors who've been working, putting in some type of work in this. Peace and love to all. Any closing comments or statements? Let's get out of here.
No, I was gonna, no, I didn't wanna give that guy no club.
Oh, no, are you? You could throw him under the bus.
I was gonna say, who that IMH temple guy?
Oh, that's Rami.
Oh, that's it?
I seen him come in the chat earlier,
Yeah.
saying something about something, then he said this is sad, then he left. And I went to his page, and he went live, and he had like only 2 people in there.
Of
Give
course.
him a thumbs down, he went live and stuff. And he came back to our live
Yeah.
after his live was done.
After his live
But we're
was
still
done.
live, because
Yeah.
no one went to his.
Nobody went to his live.
I don't know what that guy is on.
Yeah. That's the 77 amazing facts co-author. The more who I wrote the book with.
Say a word.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's who that is. That's who that is.
But there was 7 facts about Moorish?
Yeah.
These people.
I have that book in my bag right
Yeah.
now.
That's who that is. That's who that is. Rami Salama.
I said right here, Animation Temple.
Yeah.
It's like they just try to bring it in their times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He has a temple.
It's, supposedly.
But these people should be like household.
Oh yeah, let's
He
just
wasn't speaking too hard, he was just
Yeah,
saying.
no, you can't, because you know you're gonna go live later. You know what I mean? You're gonna go live later. He's trying to do his little thing. You know how it goes already. You know how it goes. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. We'll just close out. You ready, Mark? Oh. I hear that.
No,
Fly on the left, two on the right. Allah, Father of the universe.
Father of the universe,
Father of love.
Father of love,
Truth.
truth,
Peace.
peace,
Freedom.
freedom,
And justice.
and justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my
My
protector,
guide.
my guide,
And my salvation.
and my salvation.
By night.
By night,
And by day.
and by day,
His holy prophet.
His holy prophet,
Noble Dwali.
Noble Dwali.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam, Moors. Peace and love to all.
You gonna see Yasu?
Anytime? No. I don't think so. I might, yeah, you just put it back there? Yeah.